Today we are talking about two cartoons, Steven Universe on Cartoon Network and Gravity Falls on Disney XD. So let's talk a little bit about Steven Universe. It's become this almost cult-like following just because of the story and how the characters interact with each other and the story behind each of the characters.
It's a really realistic cartoon when it comes to like personal development because everyone has a duality and no one is inherently perfect.
No, they all have their flaws and quirks.
It makes them more relatable, and as like a human being, you'd think aliens would be a little more, again, alienated. But no, they're more human than some humans are.
So let's talk about each of the main characters in Steven Universe. Let's start with Steven. Who else?
Steven!
He has grown so much as a character as the series progressed. He went from this silly, he's still silly, but at the beginning of the series, he was so much more silly.
I think he has a vital role in, one, keeping the gems together, as well as that healing nature that every single one of the gems needs.
So continuing with the character talk, let's talk a little bit about Pearl.
Pearl is outwardly uptight and very organized and almost OCD. I won't say almost, she is OCD. But I think that's a lot of the reasons why people enjoy her as a character so much, because you all know that one person that's just like, I have to have all of my M&Ms color-coded.
We might as well move on to Garnet. She's made of two different gems, Ruby and Sapphire.
Which are adorable.
So adorable.
Well, Sapphire's counterpart, Ruby, is a hothead, which is interesting because rubies have to have an extensive amount of heat to be able to form.
I am an eternal flame, baby!
Garnet does not come apart for really anything unless it truly bothers both counterparts.
Or is forcibly torn apart.
Oh god, don't remind me. Okay, we need to talk about Amethyst.
Amethyst, wow.
She's my favorite.
She is a lot deeper than when she first was on the show.
She is probably the most human as far as changing goes. Well, she's one of the only gems that came from the Earth.
Yeah.
She struggles with that fact because she knows that the gem Homeworld created those, and by creating her, she was destroying the Earth. So she immediately feels bad for herself, has a very weak self-image initially, but she's now battling it and becoming stronger and coming to terms with it. Okay, so Gravity Falls follows a twin duo of Dipper and Mabel Pines. They're both really adorable. They're attached at the hip, and as the summer goes on, they struggle with trying to stay a unit and still grow up. There's personal development in each character, but it's mostly circumstantial due to the fact that so much is happening around in their lives that makes them question everyone's integrity and their motives, and it's a very mysterious time. In about a year, they'll be going to high school, and so during the summer, they meet a lot of teenagers. Specifically, Dipper has a huge crush on a girl named Wendy Corduroy, who's this sassy lumberjack kind of hipster girl who works at the Mystery Shack. Mabel, on the other hand, she's boy crazy, and she's determined on getting as many boys as she can dated through. Let's talk about Grunkle Stan.
He has his twin brother that he had accidentally pushed through a portal to another dimension because
Sibling rivalry.
His brothers, they were trying to.
His brother was
each other.
Yeah, his brother was very successful when it came to his scientific knowledge. And by the way, and I'm gonna separate this with, I'll just call him Grunkle Stan and then Ford. Ford gets pushed through the rift because Grunkle Stan comes to see him, but they get into an argument and then Ford gets pushed into the rift. There's also the matter of so many different villains throwing wrenches at Dipper and Mabel and Grunkle Stan.
Seuss is Seuss.
Seuss is Seuss. He serves as comic relief, but also we do get like a little bit of a backstory from him. where his father wasn't around and he lived with his
Ran out
abuela.
Abuela.
Abuela's sweet but strange.
Yeah, she's a very strange, quiet old lady. But there's something very unsettling about her.
I vacuumed the walls now.
Well, that concludes this episode's Keyframe. Thank you for joining us here on ZBTV. Join us next time where we will be talking about Adventure Time and all its glory. All right.
Go watch cartoons now.